Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to try to keep this short, about 15 to 20 minutes, because I know weekends are special and we've got tons of stuff packed into them. So I wanted to give you a little bit of information about coaching and what goes on behind the scenes. I know you've seen me posting stuff. That's part of it, sharing your story on social media, inviting people to come along with you, helping others to find the success business-wise or physically that you have. So I started this about 7 years ago. I was at a point in my life where I hated how I looked. I hated that my clothes didn't fit. I needed to buy a bigger size. I was not happy with anything in my life at that point in time. I was kind of depressed. I knew I wanted more out of life. I loved my husband. I loved my kids, but my kids were older, getting ready to leave the nest. And I felt like there was something missing in my life. You know, what had happened to me? I had all these ideas and dreams, and like so many of us do, I put myself on the back burner. I literally just, thought I need to take care of the kids. I need to take care of my husband. I never had time to take care of me. So I found myself at a point in my life that I'm like, I don't recognize who's in the mirror. I don't want to recognize who's in the mirror. So I was at the VA waiting for my dad's appointment. And if you don't know anything about the Veterans Affairs hospitals, you can be there forever. And this infomercial came on talking about this 3-week program that you could lose 5 to 10 pounds on. And they talked about this nutrition program. They had these cute little containers that you filled so many times a day according to what your goals were and what you weighed. I'm like, okay, I could do the workouts for 3 weeks. They might not be the best, but I could get through 3 weeks workouts, and it wouldn't hurt me to try the containers. I could handle that, because here's the catch. Those containers, it wasn't like, here you have to put this in this container and that's all you get. There was a list that I got to choose from on what I wanted to put in that container. I'm like, I can do that. So many of those diets out there, this is the menu and this is what you have to eat, and you have no choice about it, especially if you want the results. This was not that way. Best part of all, it had a 30-day money-back guarantee. And it said that if you're not happy within 30 days, if you tell us, we'll give you your money back, minus the shipping and handling. Like, okay, so it's kind of a guarantee here. I was desperate enough, just had a little bit of hope left that something would change. So I'm like, what have I got to lose? I don't like where I'm at now. So I went ahead and signed up for it. Had it sent to me. I'm like, no, I don't want a coach. No, I don't need that shake. I just want this. And I did it. And I told the family, I'm like, okay, no cheats. This is what I'm doing. Don't do it. I think we went once during the whole 3 weeks, and I had a small salted caramel blizzard at Dairy Queen. At the end of 3 weeks, I'd lost like 7 pounds and 6 inches. And that was just off my chest, my waist, and my hips, because I didn't take any other measurements. I took one picture. I'm like, nobody's ever seen this picture. It's just for me. So at the end of 3 weeks, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've lost weight. I feel better. I look better. I have more energy. At 6 o'clock, I'm not passing out on the couch, done, chilling out on a big bowl of ice cream. I'm like, there's something to this. Repeated it, another 3 weeks, almost identical results. So at the end of the 6 weeks, I was hooked. It was not going back. I'm like, I'm obviously keeping this, joke's on me, but I was okay with that. I did it for several months and decided that I needed a different program, because I only had one. Back then we had DVDs. I'm like, okay, I'm getting kind of tired of doing this one over and over and over. So I want something else. So I took the next step up from that program. And when I went to enter it, there was like, hey, if you'll sign up for a coach, we'll give you 15% off. I'm like, I don't want a coach, but I'd like to say 15%. I'm like, I'll sign up. I'm like, that coach messaged me, I'll just blow them off. That was the plan. Got the DVD, got ready to start it. And I just happened to be sitting at the OBGYN's office, and they're always running late. And I didn't have a whole lot to do. So I'm sitting there not knowing how long they're going to be behind when the coach messaged me. And she started talking about what my goals were, what was going on. And she invited me to her accountability group. I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? I had questions. I was stalled and I didn't know how to advance it up. I didn't know what anybody else was doing. I was literally on an island by myself doing this, keeping my own self accountable. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. What else have I got to lose? I'll try. I'd heard about it, so I'm like, I'll try it for a couple of days. If I don't like it, I can always just like jump out of the group. No big deal. I got into the group, and here was the missing piece of the puzzle. There was other women on the journey, just like I was. They had struggles. They had problems getting up. They had problems with their nutrition. They shared tips. Oh yeah, go up in weight. Oh, try this recipe. Try tweaking this. And there was even people in there who had, major diseases. They had cancer. They had some debilitating problems. And I'm like, well, who am I to say, oh, I can't do this when they're doing it? They're getting up every day and showing up. There's nothing wrong with me other than I'm fat and lazy. I can do this. So I showed up for it. By the end of the 3 weeks, I was hooked because this had been the missing piece, the accountability, the camaraderie, the getting tips and advice and helping. And I jumped in and started making comments back, something I hadn't planned on doing. So she came on and asked about, hey, I'm going to do this sneak peek, something sort of like this, but it was over like a three-day journey there. And I was kind of curious at that point. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I like the products. I'd like to get a discount off. You get a 25% discount for being a coach. You don't have to coach. You can just get the discount. I'm like, I'm going to do that. So I ordered the shake because everybody was swearing by it. And within about 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I know why they're swearing by the shake. My stomach felt better. I had more energy. All those 3 o'clock munchies for the rest of the night were gone. My skin was looking better. My hair and nails were growing better. The insect bites, like when I got stung by a wasp, instead of being a spot like this, was just a normal reaction. Instead of having a swelling, a red swelling lump for 3 weeks, it was gone. I'm like, something about the shake. I definitely need it. So I kind of played with it for several years because I'd be on again, I'd be off again. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Wasn't comfortable with the social media thing. And eventually, I decided I got with another group and I decided I saw what they were doing and it made sense to me. It didn't feel icky and gross. You show up, you're consistent with it, and you get in, you get done, and you move on. So, I don't spend 7 days a week on this. I don't spend 8 hours a week on my coaching gig. I spend about half an hour in the morning and I go through and I invite a couple more people into my Facebook network or my Instagram network. I have a couple of conversations with somebody. I invite a couple people along, to join me with the shake or the workouts or the whole thing. I follow up with a couple of people to see where they're at in the process. And I invite somebody to coaching. And there's lots of reasons to coach. Maybe it's you need accountability. Maybe you want the discount. Maybe you're like me and you needed that, the group to keep pushing you. One thing about coaching is when you sign up for it, you're like, if you don't do it, then why is anybody that's with you going to do it? So it keeps you accountable. It adds another layer of accountability to that, which is huge. So that's kind of what happened with that. I also spend about 15 or 20 minutes in the evening checking with my group, seeing how the ladies are doing, commenting like, hey, good job, or answering a question they have, or helping them troubleshoot a problem. One of the posts that came up last night was, I'm on vacation, and for the first time in 9 years since having kids, I feel comfortable wearing a swimsuit. That's huge. That's what lights me up inside. Being able to help somebody feel comfortable in their skin. Not that they've got a six-pack, not that they're ripped, not that they're skinny, that they're healthy, they're fit, and they're happy, and they're comfortable in their own skin. That's huge. That's what it's all about. It was never, well, I'll take that back. It was briefly about me getting a six-pack, and I'm like, okay, I have to give up everything I love to have a six-pack, so forget that. I'll go for happy and healthy. And I am. Food doesn't control me anymore. I love the camaraderie with the other coaches. I have gotten to go to different places that I never would have. I've met all kinds of people all across the United States because of it. And, we're friends now. We hold each other accountable. We help each other out. Hey, I'm stuck. What do I need to do with this? Or I have a question. So it's not like you're doing this by yourself. You've got other people to help you answer questions, to help show you the next step up, to help you backtrack if you need to backtrack. This can be about money. If you need money, maybe you want a couple $100 of fun money. That's where I started out. I wanted a couple $100 to help with, we get paid one day and a couple days later, all the money was gone. I'm like, I need a little buffer in there. So that's where I started at. And then I'm like, hey, you know what? I can do this. And I'm seeing people make thousands of dollars every month. I mean, insert the Beachbody disclaimer here that no level income is provided or guaranteed. It depends on the individual's work ethic and how much you're willing to put into it. And by putting into it, I'm not talking a lot of money, but you got to do the time. You got to go in there and you got to do the work and you got to stay with it. It's not going to happen necessarily overnight. Sometimes it does, and then sometimes it wanes off. So you have to stay with it. But if you'll stay with it, there's people that have left their full-time jobs and this is their full-time job, but they don't work at full-time. They work a couple hours a day, but they get a full-time paycheck. Isn't that awesome? Yep, that's one of the goals I'm working for right now, is paying off the debt. And this is helping me do that, a little here and a little there. So but you can be a discount coach, you can be a hobby coach, which is why I was for a long time. You can start doing it on a part-time basis, or you can go into full-time. Full-time does not mean 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. You're going to spend maybe an hour or two, depending on what you're doing and how many people underneath you. When you get really big, then you spend a little more time and you're preparing stuff, doing slides, more of these webinars, providing the documentation. The other thing is, this is work at your own pace. So if you want to make lots of money up front, then you got to do more work. If you just want to do a little, you start out and you just do a little, and you can increase as you need to, and you can back off as you need to. You're not going to be stuck out on an island by yourself. We have tons of training, well, not tons, but we have trainings that walk you through it step by step of what you need to do. And you just follow along. You're like, okay, I think this will work for me. And you do that. One of the things, besides being a product of the product, so you're working out, you're drinking some of the products, maybe that's the shake, maybe that's some of the performance line, maybe it's both. You do personal development, and that's just picking up a book or a podcast or, a YouTube video of something that you need to improve on. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe it's how to manage the debt. Maybe it's how to get along with your kids and how to get those strong little kids to, not fight with you. Maybe it's how to meal prep or work on nutrition. Maybe it's time management. Maybe it's having more self-esteem. It can be anything. It's whatever's relevant to you. And you read for, 5-10 minutes a day. It's progressing you along in your journey, making you a better person. And who doesn't need that? We all could use a little bit of personal development. Maybe it's like, how do I organize my house? Doesn't matter. It's just moving it forward little by little each day. So there are several ways to get an income, or there's several pricings. You can do coaching by paying a one-time $40 fee. And that gives you your coach office. Everything's taken care of. They handle, you send out the invite. Here's the link. They take care of the payment. They take care of maintaining the website for you, offering you the different tools in there. There's even trainings in there if you want to watch them. The shipping, the billing, any questions, any technical issues, they handle all that. You're not doing any of that. You're just sharing your story, asking people to join you and helping them, there are a couple steps behind you. That's it. Easy. It's a simple, easy business. So you got that option, or you can buy what we call a challenge pack, which is basically you're bundling 12 months of the workout programs, which is like over 86 programs right now, with the shake or the performance line, which is running anywhere from about $140, $160 a one-time payment for 12 months. The shake and the performance line is a 30-day thing. You can stop it, you can start it, you can change things around, depends on what your goals are. So that's the two options. There is a $15.95 charge each month to maintain your office. It's a one-time fee. You look at it, it's a discount. You're still saving, even if you just buy the shake every month, you're still saving about $25 off the shake each month. So it's huge. It does add up if you're going to continue doing this, or if you love the products. You can change out, maybe you're going full-time, maybe you decide you don't want to, you want to be a hobby for a while because life's too hectic. You can do that. There's no set commitment. You are your own boss. There is somebody there willing to help. I will be there willing to help you, guide you through the steps. And so will my upline, the people above me. It all depends on what you want to do. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions, post them below or tag me after this video, or send me a private message and I'll answer them for you. Like I said, this type of building a second stream of income doesn't have to be all day. It shouldn't be all day. And it doesn't have to be hard. It's a very simple thing. You just follow the routine. Over time, you're going to get there. I started with like 20 people on Facebook, and I didn't really talk to them. I only had them so I could play games, because you needed to get more lives. So that's how you got lives. That was it. I knew nothing about Facebook. I knew nothing about Instagram. I knew very little about nutrition. I knew very little about workouts, and you don't have to. The trainers are there that talk about the workouts. We have 2 nutrition programs. They talk about the nutrition. You're basically just connecting people and helping them find the answers. And a lot of it comes based on the fact that, you're doing it, so you know what worked for you, or you're going to hear stories from your challengers that you have or the other coaches, and you can share those. Just like I shared the story about the lady in our group who was finally comfortable after 9 years after having 9 years later from her kids to wear a swimsuit on vacation. Isn't that what it's all about? So thank you so much for showing up for this, for listening to me. I'm going to get off here and let you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'd love to talk farther with you if you think this is something that might interest you or you're curious about. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.